Karen. How are you today?
I'm good, Alicia. How are you?
Good, thanks. Feeling a bit better than the last time we spoke?
Getting there. It's a bit slow though. Still coughing a lot. And I mean, by the time I get to bed in the evenings, I literally fall into bed at about 8:30 and just vroom. Then I wake up coughing, but I'm falling asleep very quickly. But
Oh no, poor
bed
thing. It's
early.
dragging on a wee bit.
Well, it's dragging on. It's a bit weird. I was talking about this with people at work yesterday, and we were just saying, I don't know if the illnesses are stronger or if we are weaker or if it's a combo of both, but or if
Mm.
this is just a particularly virulent version. But anyway, I'm sick of it. But it'll go. It'll go. It's just I don't want to take antibiotics, so I think it takes longer when you don't take the antibiotics, right?
Is it kind of like is it a an infection? Because obviously when we're taking antibiotics, it's more of like an infection, or is it like more cold and flu?
I'm guessing it's more cold and flu because I
Mm.
think if it was an infection, I'd feel worse. I think the problem is more it's just relentless coughing because both the kids have had it before me, and the girl is fully better, and the boy is slowly getting there. But he's back to school and sports this week. But he's still not quite 100%. He's still a bit like,
Yeah.
he's just played his soccer game today. They got thrashed 7-0, and he's lying there miserable on the couch.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, hey, like apart from that, like how's everything going this week? What questions do you have for me so far this week?
Yeah, it's going okay. I don't think I might have any questions. I think yesterday was quite a stressful day at work, and I wobbled and I had a few things and did a few things that weren't really on the cards. And I was reminded of how that can happen. The difference between feeling confident and good and the difference between when that starts to crumble. Because I'm doing my boss's job, some things started to go wrong yesterday.
Mm.
Not my fault, but regulatory issues that happened back in 2019. I didn't even work there then, but all this stuff came up yesterday, and then all these really senior people from Singapore and Tokyo were calling me saying, you need to sort this out, this is urgent. And I didn't really know how to deal with it or how to do it, and there wasn't really anybody to ask. So I really felt that stress yesterday, and I noticed how much that depletes your other energy and ability to stay, strong and focused. So, I went and got a donut, and I was like, oh God, what do I do? What do I do? And I was like, it's all right, get back on track. But
Yeah.
it reminded me of how frail it can be when things worry you. And that's
100.
okay.
Yeah.
Fine, but we'll get there again.
Yeah, and I think an interesting thing with stress as well is being really clear on what it actually is. And stress, in a nutshell, is high demand with very low clarity, right? Which is exactly what happened to you. You've got
Mm.
very high demand and very low clarity in regards to how to deal with this particular problem, right? Because a lot of us really do struggle, and this is a completely different situation than say like kind of emotional stress that a lot of us feel. But when we're kind of don't have those coping mechanisms in place for those stresses, and when we do lack clarity, we do turn to things that are going to make us feel good in that short term. That's what we're looking for, right?
Well, it was amazing. My alarm went off. I've been setting alarms for when I'm at home to have my smoothies, spinach and just healthy greenish, but with some frozen, like organic raspberries thrown in, whatever, frozen organic blueberries, whatever's there. Um, and normally I get up, I do it, that's good. When the alarm went off yesterday, I just pressed dismiss and moved on. And I thought, I have no interest in that smoothie right now. And I was like, wow. Yeah, I was like, gosh, how quickly things can change. And I
100.
was reflecting on that this morning when I woke up and I thought, wow, just wow. That's all.
Yeah. How did you get through it? So what did you so obviously like you had the donut and then you had to figure out like how to deal with the situation as well. So reflecting on that situation, like what are a few takeaways that you've found from that?
I wish I had a really good answer to that. I don't really have a good answer. I think you've just got to not let that be the beginning of an avalanche.
Mm.
Um, and I think the structure of your program is helpful with that because, when I got up this morning, I was like, oh, I was a bit like, because of that yesterday, a bit of everything, the work situation, then my decisions that I made. And I was like, oh, Then I was like, oh, I've got the 1 o'clock call. And I was like, oh gosh, I've got the 1 o'clock call. And I had to get Molly to gymnastics and Felix had football. And, it was a very, very busy morning. We go to the farmer's market normally and buy the organic fruit and veg on Saturday mornings, nice and early. I do that. And I looked at the scales this morning and I went, I'm not going near that. So I haven't weighed in, so I haven't done my sheet, but I will do it probably tomorrow or Monday. Probably Monday. Tomorrow's crazy busy, but
That sounds good.
yeah, it is what it is, I think. And I don't want to go into that spiral of negativity. I want to stay in the point of that's okay. I'm human. I've had a human day and human things have happened and I've made human decisions, but they're not aligned with my goals. And I want to stay in alignment with my goals. So let's keep going.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a very fine line between, showing ourselves compassion and letting ourselves off the hook, right? There's a very fine line, especially when you're somebody like yourself who holds yourself to a high standard, who has goals that they want to achieve. And when we experience things like that, and I think it's perfectly okay to be disappointed in ourselves sometimes. Like it's an absolutely okay thing to do. Sometimes I make decisions where I'm like, oh, man, like I'm actually disappointed that I've made that decision. That definitely wasn't in line with my goals. And that's actually a good thing to feel, but also at that same time, having that self-compassion of exactly what you've just said, Karen. Cool, I'm just a human. I'm just going to reflect on that. What would I want to do next time in that situation if faced with it? So next time I'm in a situation where inevitably work throws something my way that I am maybe not fully equipped to deal with, what decision would I rather make? What decision is going to make me actually feel better, not in the short term, but the day after or in the long term? And I think that's a really great way to look at it as well. But I think, like you've said, just take it one step at a time. You're human. That day's been and gone. It's a fresh day. You're on the call, which is a really exciting thing too. And I think it's great to show up even when we're maybe not feeling the best with our decisions. In fact, it's probably the most important to show up to these calls when we're not feeling the absolute best.
Well, I notice how I wobble about getting on the call when I haven't done what I wanted to do. And I thought, no, 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 no. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the most important time to turn up the calls because it's easy when we're feeling good and we've been ticking off our targets to get on an accountability course. We're feeling awesome, but it's even more important when we're struggling a little bit or when we've kind of had like a bit of a tough day to actually show up to these calls so we can all just chat it out because everyone's in the same boat. Like it's gonna happen like to so many people, and I think it's great to have that transparency, right?
And the road is not linear and it's not straight and it's not always just directly forward. I think that's so important to acknowledge as well.
100%. That is so, so true. And Adele, thanks for joining us today too. How are you doing? I'll just get you to pop off mute for a second. Just select the unmute, Adele. Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
feeling
still have
good?
been a bit better, but I'm still not feeling 100%. But I've been doing my steps. I've been getting more than 10,000 each day, which is good. I'm feeling happy about that. So
Fantastic. Awesome. Good job. I saw that you posted about that.
yeah.
Amazing.
That is awesome. Well done. That's really impressive.
Yeah, it is. Has that just been incidental, Adele, or have you been scheduling daily walks?
No, I haven't. Just at work mainly every day. So
Wow.
today, tomorrow is where I struggle. So I need to get the steps up.
100.
Today and tomorrow is where I struggle a lot with.
Yeah,
to get my steps.
I find that with a lot of healthcare workers because for a lot of people who are, working on like wards or working shifts, you're kind of running around a lot on shifts, you're on your feet a lot, and the steps are really, really easy to get in on the days that you're working. It's easy to get 10,000 plus on those days. And then on the days where you're not, it's kind of a bit of a very kind of shocking confrontation comparing on shift step days to non-shift off days and going, okay, well, I still have a step count that I'm wanting to achieve, and it does require scheduling more likely than not, going for a walk and making a few of those decisions to ensure that you can still get that base amount or that benchmark amount of steps in, even on the days where you're not working.
Yeah, it's as well like with the weather, like when it was like summer, like I would get the steps on the weekends because I like to go like for walks and everything. But like now winter, like I feel so cold, like I just don't want to go outside for a walk. which
I
is hard.
completely get that, 100%. But also, like, to flip that around as well, like, we can come up with excuses for summertime as well. Like, I talk to ladies all the time in the summer, they're like, it's just too hot. Like, it's too hot outside. I'm not going for my
Yeah.
walk. And then it's winter. It's just so cold and it's raining. I just don't want to go for a walk. We're going to have excuses no matter what. And I know it's uncomfortable, but I've kind of forced myself, in essence, to walk no matter what. Honestly, like, if it is pouring down outside, I always think, what a great adventure. And I pop my dog in her rain jacket and her boots, and I put on my rain jacket, my umbrella. And it is just like, you know, especially when we feel like not doing it, it's a really good excuse to get out and do it. It's really hard because when we're warm and we're cozy and we're comfy, obviously we don't really want to move, but I think it's just taking that action and going, well, you know what, there's going to be something. There's always going to be something, whether it's like, oh, my back's just a little bit twingy today, or it's just freezing, or oh, it's so muggy. So I think it's just finding those workarounds and something that's going to work for you, and just challenging yourself to push outside of that comfort zone a little bit. At the end of the day, like my mum always used to say to me, it's just a little bit of water, just a little bit of water, you'll be fine.
That's true.
How are you going with tracking your nutrition, Adele? Have you been giving that a bit of a go this week?
Yeah, I've done like I think maybe 2 or 3 days, full days, and the rest I've done maybe like just one meal there and there. But I'm feeling a bit more comfortable with MyFitnessPal, which is better. I'm understanding more a bit now how to track them. And I've completed like most of the phase 1 videos and things that I haven't completed. So that was a good this week as well. I sat down and watched the videos and everything.
Amazing.
So yeah, happy. Yeah.
Perfect. Are you getting the results that you're wanting right now as far as the scale weight's going?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. So far, so good.
Okay, awesome. So you've been weighing yourself kind of that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or how many times a week are you weighing yourself currently?
Just I'm doing Wednesday and then Saturday.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. And you're starting to notice some changes?
Yeah. With the weight I am.
Awesome.
Like this week, I think I'm down like 1.2.
Cool. That's
Wow.
fantastic. That's a really good indicator that we're tracking accurately, that you are for the most part sticking to that deficit, and obviously your energy output's quite high as well. So that's really exciting.
And I'm feeling more like confident in myself like these past 2 weeks since I've joined the program. I think it's just helped me emotionally as well, which is good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. Yeah.
So happy to hear that, Adele. That's awesome. Well, hey, like, congratulations. That's really neat. And obviously, we're just getting started. It's only the first walk, so I'm really excited to see everything else you achieve over the course.
I think with me, the first few weeks I'll stick to it, and then I'll need that reassurance again to continue. So I think the first few weeks will be good for me, but then I think I'll have it's good.
And that actually kind of like brings me into another interesting subject as well, which is the concept of like hitting our own personal glass ceiling. Now, all of us have done this at one point or another when we've done, say, for example, like a fad diet in the past. And the first couple of weeks, motivation's high. So let's just say we're doing something like a juice cleanse or just living off of shakes, right? That's something that I tried very early on in my health and fitness journey. Motivation's high because it's this new shiny thing that promises immediate results. And you go into day one, you're feeling good. You go into the office or like into shift and into the break room, and there's, you know, brownies and cakes that everybody's bought in, and you're just feeling like, no, I'm all good. I can resist. Like, I'm doing this new thing. I'm feeling great. Then the week kind of drags on. And of course, because it is so incredibly restrictive and mundane and boring, we start crashing a little bit, and energy is low and our mental fatigue is high. And then by the end of week 2, we're at the point where we're just like, this is not sustainable long term. I just cannot keep doing this. And we inevitably kind of cave and we go, okay, cool, I'm just grabbing like fish and chips, or I'm grabbing like Burger King. That's it. Like, I'm done with this. I'll just start it again next week.
Yeah.
It happens a lot too. Motivation will definitely be high in the first 1 to 2 weeks because we're feeling good. We're starting something new. But inevitably, when we kind of settle into the swing of things, no matter how sustainable it is, which is the approach that we're all taking, it can sometimes get a little bit monotonous, a little bit boring, right? And I think at that point, it's really important to understand that sometimes our health and fitness journeys are like brushing our teeth. It's something that we do on the day-to-day because we know the long-term benefits of it, but we're not excited to brush our teeth in the morning. We're not like super amped to like floss and like rinse our mouths out. It's sometimes going to be a little bit boring, or motivation just might not be there. So that's why it's really important that if you do start to feel like your motivation's dipping, just like we were talking about before, Karen, be on these calls. If you're starting to notice that things are getting a bit hard, especially when they're hard, make sure that you're on these calls. And it's so important that you're still doing that accountability report every week too, even if you feel like you haven't accomplished much. And that's where we're going to break through that sort of barrier of hitting that anywhere between 2 to 6 week mark is usually where I've seen from my experience working with hundreds of women over the years, is where we start to get that resistance point and where people start to kind of lack the motivation and start to fall off track a little bit. So it's good just to be aware of yourself and your personal tendencies and just make sure that we keep showing up.
Yeah, that's true.
Awesome. I can see Araha's joined too. I'm not too sure if she's connected or not. I'll just double check. Hey, Araha.
Hey, Eilish. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, sorry. Yeah.
How are you
Okay,
doing?
that's good. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Oh, good. Are you in New Zealand?
I am back in Kalgoorlie.
Oh, back in Kalgoorlie. Welcome back.
Thank you. I've just done a walk. I got that. Yeah, it was really interesting just listening to that whole thing too about the whole accountability, because I have not been accountable. So yeah, that was definitely some good advice that I just overheard. So yes, have not been accountable, but I am hitting my weight targets. So
Awesome.
I am very happy about that. But yeah, I've just been a bit MIA, just work's been a bit on top of me. I've had to move, and then, just like admin life things have just got in the way a little bit. Yeah, gone back home to NZ for just over a week, flew back, did the drive. But yes, I've got a week to go, so I'm just sort of organising everything. But I have been, I wouldn't say I've been strict on my food, but the exercise, I'm actually 10 minutes late for the call, sorry, because I've just got back from the park.
Oh, awesome. No stress.
Yeah, and I don't have a car anymore, so I just got dropped off. But anyway, that's probably the only thing that I've sort of kept consistent is the steps.
But that's awesome. That's such a win. Like, don't neglect the power of staying consistent with these small things, because at the end of the day, right, like when we do have inevitably these life events that are going to pop up, because they are things like injury, illness, if we're going back to New Zealand for a friend's wedding, there's always going to be these things, but it's so important to have some semblance of controlling the variables we can control, right? And so for you, Araha, you've still been able to keep up with your step target, and that's awesome. So maybe you haven't really been able to keep up with being in full control of your nutrition, but I'm sure you've still been really aware of like making sure you're eating protein where you can and being mindful.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good way as well.
Yeah, 100%. So I think the last time I spoke with you, I think I was like 1.5 kgs down. So I'm now at 3 down, and I've got 1 to go. Like that was my target, and we're not quite in June yet. So I'm mindful of that, but I know that I've sort of lacked with the whole accountability reports, keeping up to date with classroom and things like that. Yes, so yeah, I'm very much aware of that. But it's definitely on my priority today before work. It's just to like refresh, get up to date with everything, and then reset, and then finish up in Cal on the 29th. It was my last day at work. So
thank goodness, it's come around really quickly.
Yes.
I love that. I love that you're refocusing, resetting, and that's the thing. Like, you've had a lot of parts going on, and all we need to do when we feel like we're a little bit removed from like our center focus on that goal is just reset. And that's the beauty of the classroom as well, is like, you know what, let's just say for some reason somebody got like injured, or they were unable to like go to the gym, or they were sick for an extended period of time where they couldn't really do much. It's just coming back to that and going, okay, you know what, I got up to week 3. What I want to do is I'm just gonna go back to week 1. I'm just gonna work through week 1 again so that I can kind of just refresh my memory, refocus, set those goals, and continue taking those steps in the right direction as well. And I think that's kind of handy thing, and like a bit of a byproduct of how we've set it up too, so that you can work back through things, and that's the way that it's all designed.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, I've got 2 hours before work, so I thought I'd just better jump on the call, show my face. I'm still with the team, even though I've been a bit slack on social media lately. But it's definitely still at the forefront. But you're right though, it's not been center of everything in the past 2 weeks. It's been definitely like a little bit to the side. But I think one thing that I'm still very happy with is, running shoes and I'm putting them back on. I've got, everything like to do with exercise. I'm still trying to keep really consistent with. And I'm definitely mindful about portions, and when we've been going out back home and things like that, and literally just eating when I feel hungry to eat. And we went out the other day and just prioritizing protein, go out for brekkie, have something with eggs, or sauce on the side so I can add it in, and little things like that. So I am very aware of all those little things that I suppose they make a difference later on. At the time, you probably don't notice anything. So yeah, it was probably good for me to catch that last bit of spiel that you were saying to the other lady about being accountable and things like that. So yeah.
And that's a good insight as well. And I find a really good insight for all of us, right, is that sometimes the decisions we make on a daily basis, they don't seem like they're extremely monumental, right? And in the moment, they may not necessarily be, but they can compound heavily over time, right? And they actually help us, if we're doing them day to day, forge the identity of the person that we want to be. And on the flip side of that, if we think of it from a calorie perspective, right, let's just say that you're somebody who loves mayonnaise, and every night for dinner, like you have like a big salad and you cover it in mayonnaise. Now mayonnaise is incredibly dense in terms of calories, so if we're just spraying mayonnaise all over the place, that's going to be roughly between 200 to 300 calories just in sauce on, say, the salad that you love eating every single night. Now let's say that you swap that full fat mayonnaise to, say, 50% mayonnaise. So all of a sudden we've gone from our sauce on our salad each night being 300 calories to 150 calories. Now, that may not seem like a big deal on the day-to-day, but over the course of 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, that could be the difference of 3,000 calories. Now, 3,000 calories translates roughly into 500 grams of body fat. So by making a really small tweak over the course of 1, 2, 3, 4 months, we're actually seeing the compounding effect of something that seems really insignificant in the moment that actually compounds hugely over time if we repeat that same action day after day, year after year, month after month. So it is really interesting to put it into that perspective of even just changing the smallest things can actually compound hugely over a long period of time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely, I mean, yeah, when you discuss it on a scale of, months later, absolutely. Yeah, that I can, that's, so yeah, I suppose the little things, like to take away from that, the little things that you do every day is going to be a lot more beneficial later on.
100%. Awesome. Well, hey guys, like, anybody have any other questions before we wrap things up today? Okay, easy peasy. Well, hey, it was really cool to touch base with you all. I hope you have an awesome rest of your weekend, and hopefully I will see all your faces on next week's call. But if not, I will catch you on the next one.